You are listening to Offensive Lines with Marlon and Boyd. Small stakes NFL gambling for the average fan.
Welcome to Offensive Lines. I'm Marlon.
I'm Boyd.
And it's the pick show. We recapped the games in our show last night. We went a little long, but we'll trim that down. In future pick shows, we tried a different format. But to briefly recap, we are in a profit situation. We won 2 out of our 3 picks last week. And we could have picked almost any of our other considerations and won 3 out of 3.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that habit. We seemed to do that a lot last year. Picked the wrong ones.
Yeah.
Never good.
But let's just get to it. I assume you know what time it is.
It's motherfucking game time!
That's right. It's motherfucking game time. First game on the slate. The Thursday nighter. Because we will never be free of them again. Denver Broncos are 3-point underdogs facing the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay. Now, looking through all the games this week, there's not a lot of underdog picks that are viable. And this has nothing to do with Peyton Manning or the Denver offense. This is strictly on the Denver defense. This has got to be in the mix for for an upset pick, because there's not a lot out there that.
Well, I saw a couple of others that might work.
I did too.
I'm definitely open to keeping it in the mix. What frightens me about it, though, is KC has a pass rush of their own, and Denver's O-line gave up 4 sacks last week. And on most of those, the protection was so bad that Manning just did his turtle after about 2 minutes. I agree with you.
Yeah,
it's too early to write off Peyton Manning in that sense, but it's the O-line versus Houston and the rest of that rush.
Right, but is Kansas City going to score? They're about as mobile. Alex Smith might be a little more mobile than Flacco, but Jamal Charles, would he have 50 yards rushing against?
Yeah, but they do have Jamal Charles to swing it to. They've got Kels as a tight end outlet, which I'm not even sure who's playing tight end in Baltimore these days. I think Kansas City has a lot more offensive weapons than Baltimore.
But Denver might have the best defense in football.
Yeah, though Kansas City's a top 10 defense too, I think.
Yeah.
So that's my only nervousness. I'm more than happy to put it in the mix, but
it's just, I couldn't find a lot. It's pretty slim on the underdog card this week.
One thing that makes this attractive, well, here's the problem I have with it, is I'm still leaning towards the Chiefs in this one. And it's hard to make that my underdog pick when my actual pick in the game is KC. But you're right. It may still be the best. May turn out to be the best one we see. And something to make it more attractive from your perspective, I think we would have to go on the money line on this. And the Broncos, when I screenshotted the odds, were plus 150.
And they still are. And that's... But just the plus 3, even if we just did the plus 3, because those games are always close, the divisional games in that fucking division. And I can't see Denver being as horrible on offense, even if Manning has lost something off his fastball, as they were against Baltimore. And what did Kansas City do to wideouts last game that should improve this game? No touchdowns. Macklin had 50 yards receiving. Kels, I think the linebackers and safeties in Denver can take him out of the game. So then you're left with Charles as the guy that can beat you.
Yeah, but, I mean, what did Denver do? I mean, there was no offensive touchdown in that game.
No, I know.
And I think the Chiefs' defense is comparable to Baltimore's. I mean, there are some worries in the secondary, which works into your argument. And Hoyer, even a completely fucked up Manning, is better than Hoyer, so I don't put a lot of credit that they chased him from the game. Anyway, no. It's in the mix, and you make good points. But the other final thing, too, is we don't usually bet Thursdays.
I know, but there's not... The difference here for me on that is it's only week 2. It's not like week 12.
That was a pretty physical game in Denver.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
True.
let's see what we end up with. I won't do our picks for that game yet.
No.
All right. Next up, we have the Arizona Cardinals -1.5 at the Chicago Bears.
I don't want to bet this game. I don't think we need to spend a ton of time on it unless you wanted to bet it.
I didn't hate it, but I don't know much about either of these teams yet, is my feeling. So I'm happy avoiding it if we have to.
Arizona's just a different team. They're like Seattle.
Yes.
You don't know what you're getting from them on the road. Particularly on defense.
Last year, at the start of the year, they were outstanding on the road, but the Bears team had a fair bit more life. Like, I don't think they're quite the pushovers they were last year. So I'd be hesitant with Zona traveling and Chicago. That said, I'm still going to take Arizona.
Me as well. I'm not sold on them as a road team yet. And it appears Vegas isn't either, only making them 1.5 point favorites.
Yeah.
It's not like Chicago was predicted to be a top team in the league or middle of the road team in the league. Everybody's got them fucking being dogs all year. So to only get 1.5 or to give 1.5, this smells to me too.
Okay. Well,
if you're supposed to be that good a team,
bet in spite of the smell, and then there are inexplicable ones. A famous one I can remember us dealing with was Pittsburgh being crushed by the Jets last year.
Yeah, we couldn't figure out why the spread was so low, and then they got crushed. So
yeah, no, that's a pretty
Vegas
good
knows
reason
something.
Too. All right.
Yeah, I'll take Arizona.
Okay, and I'm with Arizona as well. Next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons +2 at Giants.
+2.5 now.
Well, you see, I like this.
This was my other one. That I found.
Yeah, okay, we're thinking a lot here because I really like this. I don't know how the Giants were in that game. They don't have Philly's pass rush or defense in general. Ryan made some mistakes there, but the defense even looked pretty good against the hurry up in the first half, fell apart in the second. But I like this one a lot.
The only question is, will Odell Beckham Jr. get loose in this game? But who's stopping Julio Jones?
Yes, exactly.
For the Giants, with no pass rush. And their running game wasn't bad for Atlanta against Philly.
No, the running game wasn't bad.
They used Devontae Adams as a pass catcher, which was good. It almost reminded me how they used them like Cincinnati uses Hill and Bernard. And that kind of switch-up role.
That's good. I hadn't thought of it that way, but I agree with you. It is kind of like
and the way
that.
The touches evened out. And that they used Adams more of a pass catcher. And
Freeman?
What the fuck's... Freeman.
Yes.
Who's it? Not Adams isn't the other guy, is he?
No.
No, what the fuck's his name? Kelvin Jenkins.
Yeah.
Why'd that go out of my head?
I even had him on my list to maybe consider drafting him this year, and I'm just coming up blank.
So anyway.
No, I really like
their
this
two
game.
running backs are used. Yeah. Okay.
Especially if we're getting another half point. And I think on this one,
we're taking the money line. When the spreads are this low, we're taking the money.
It's only plus 110.
No, it's plus 115 now.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we'll see, but I'm marking that as a strong possible, and I think we're both, whether we bet it or not, I think we're both clearly on the Atlanta side of the equation here.
Yeah. And at 2.5 points, if it was 3.5, I'd say points. 2.5 money line.
Okay.
If we get into bigger dogs, yes, you take the points, but at 2.5.
Yeah, the money line wasn't paying almost any premium, so I was thinking we'd just get the points for virtually free. I mean, plus 115 isn't great anyway, but...
Yeah, but 2.5 points, fuck.
Yeah, that's true.
I know, we got burned on it last year once, but...
Yeah, no, in general, but we can discuss that when we're finally making some bets.
Giants have no running game.
No, I think Philadelphia is considerably better on defense in particular than the Giants are. I don't see where they're going to manufacture a pass rush at all.
No.
And I still can't figure out how they were even close in that Dallas game.
Atlanta's been a bad road team over the last few years, too, with pretty much the same offense.
That's true, but that Atlanta game, I mean, the coaching change I don't think has hurt. You were talking about milquetoast coaches last night, and they got rid of one. And I saw a lot more enthusiasm and just general crispness out of Atlanta than I'd seen in a long time. So,
All right.
Next up, we have the Detroit Lions +3 of the Vikings. I want to stay away from this one.
No, I don't want to touch this either. This one stinks too. They got the Vikings -3 plus 100. So Vegas doesn't know what the fuck's going on. I don't know what Detroit has. They played one good quarter and then collapsed on offense against a team that wasn't expected to have a shutdown defense this year.
No, and don't get me wrong, the Chargers don't have a shutdown defense, but they're not terrible in that game. But they could be.
You know what I mean.
It's more likely the Chargers' defense will end up terrible than it will end up great.
Right. And the Vikings offense looked awful against the Niners, and we may say 5 weeks from now that Niners defense is for real. But for right now, I'm not fucking wasting any money on the Vikings.
I watched enough Vikings last year that one just sticks out as something unusual, but maybe that will be the case all year, which is why I just want to stay away. And I think Detroit's a little better than they showed.
And the guy that was the architect of all those defenses in San Francisco the last handful of years is the head coach now. So I think we have more of a chance of it being the Niners defense being that good this year as opposed to the Vikings really sucking. But I'm not taking a chance yet. It's too early.
No. And
even though I don't mind the price when you're getting +100 on -3.
Well, are you taking the Vikings in this one?
No.
Because I'm gonna go Detroit. My biggest thing that I worry about, the biggest thing I worry about in that is I really think Caldwell's a terrible coach.
I'll take Minnesota because San Diego laid down the blueprint to shut down fucking Calvin Johnson. And Detroit, maybe they get Abdullah running more touches and give him the ball a little more running, but
and
I don't know
they'll
how to get a
screen
21-point lead.
I mean, who knows? Maybe Wallace isn't as crisp a route runner as Keenan Allen at all, so I don't think Minnesota's capable of replicating what Keenan Allen did. Yeah, I'm on Detroit here. Minnesota's got to prove something because they pissed me off.
I'm taking Minnesota.
Okay. Next up, we have the Houston Texans +3 at the Carolina Panthers. Quarterback to be determined at game time for the Houston Texans.
Don't want to touch it.
Nope. I don't want to come anywhere near it.
Yeah, don't know who the quarterback is. No Arian Foster. DeAndre Hopkins is a beast. Is going to be all year. That's the one weapon they have. Defensively, they might be able to contain Newton from getting out of the pocket with Clowney and Watt as bookends on that line. Carolina has a weak offensive line, as seen by picking up a cast-off from the Titans, who had probably the worst offensive line last year. And they signed one of our they signed Mr. Blindside.
Oh, and he was just goddamn terrible. I saw a few GIFs of him in action. I don't know how he ever signed another professional contract. He looked worse in Carolina. It wasn't even a hard outside move. And he didn't even get turned to the guy until the guy was past him. He's just brutal. I mean, he's not even good enough to be a right tackle.
Yeah, so...
And, I mean, Houston has problems in their linebacker and secondary, but who the hell is Newton going to throw that ball to?
I'm still taking Carolina. I can't bet on Hoyer or Mallett because Carolina has a good defense. I'll take that. The Hopkins, he had an amazing game against Kansas City, and they still got thumped pretty much. The score was closer than it looked. I don't know how against the Carolina defense, I don't know how they do any better. I think Mallett's starting.
Well,
I think that's why.
In terms
I think
of
that's
actual ability, I don't think there's a whole hell of a lot of difference between Mallett and Hoyer. I just really have some questions about Carolina's ability to score anything.
Well, it's not going to be a high-scoring game. You might even want to the under's 40.5.
I still think it's going to go. Yeah, I think the under would be the smart play. I don't want to play it either.
No, but I'm taking Carolina.
I do think the under is probably the best way to go. And I am taking the Houston Texans.
I'll take the better quarterback, and the defenses, I think, who they're playing against is basically a wash.
Yeah, okay.
Because of Houston's fucking shitty offense outside of Hopkins, Carolina's defense is good enough to keep them in check for the most part. I'll take the better quarterback.
We should. I wonder. Too bad there aren't props. Well, there probably are if we really hunted for them. But total sacks in this game, I think, is going to be 7 or 8 combined.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, next game up. When I did this, they did not list a spread for the Patriots-Bills. Is it up now?
No, it's a pick'em. It's a pick'em.
Oh, okay.
The zeros is a pick'em.
Oh, okay. I thought zero was their way of putting off line, but okay. No, so, New England at Buffalo is a pick'em.
I'm not touching this game.
No. I know who I'm cheering for.
Me too. We bet on them.
That's an excellent point. We bet on them at 8-1 to win this division.
Now,
I don't think Buffalo is nearly as good against the Patriots as they were against Indy, but I do think there are problems all over the Patriots.
Well, Rex Ryan gave the Patriots problem with the Jets. And this is basically the Jets team from Mark Sanchez days. Stifling defense, fucking caretaker at quarterback who's got some intangibles, can run a little bit. But you have the Bill Belichick defense against a quarterback who's hardly played, even though he's in his 5th year in the league. So you have that going for you. Ryan has coached against the Patriots better than most in the last 5 years. So the defense will be ready. It's going to be a low-scoring game. When they shut down Andrew Luck like that, made him look fucking ordinary.
Yeah, and
at home.
I think that, I don't think the
Gronk's not scoring 3
are...
touchdowns in this game.
No, I'm assuming Rex will cover him on at least 99% of the plays. Unlike Pittsburgh, and obviously Buffalo's offense is not comparable to Pittsburgh's, but they marched down the field for, 400 or 500, though this is a great situation for the Patriots defense, as you brought up. I'm not a full believer in Tyrod against a smart defense, which Indy's is not smart and not good. But I'm going to take Buffalo. It's just a pick 'em. I'm not confident in this at all.
I'm taking Buffalo based on the fact that the Patriots couldn't stop the run again. And the Bills can run the ball. Fucking Pittsburgh mowed them down with the run. That was the only reason they were in the fucking
Williams,
game.
No less.
Yeah.
I mean, that's had to have been his best game in 5 years.
So you have LaShawn McCoy and Carlos Williams. They still have Sammy Watkins, Percy Harvin, Charles Clay. They're a decent offense.
And it's a mobile quarterback, too, which is going to keep a lot of the second level home. Yeah, I'm taking Buffalo, not a huge confidence.
I feel pretty good. They have a super pass rush in Buffalo. New England doesn't have a running game. They'll shut down Gronkowski. Edelman is probably the key factor for them in this game. And we'll see how their DBs can cover them. But I like Buffalo's chances in this at home. If we're in New England, it was a pick 'em, I'd take New England.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Because they could jam headsets there and everything.
That's it.
Because they cheat all the time. It's the only reason they've been to 6 Super Bowls.
The only reason.
Yeah. They didn't have any talent. They just cheated. Because you put Bill Belichick in Jacksonville and he cheats, they win all the Super Bowls.
Well, yeah, and he cheats so well he could win every Super Bowl, but he just chooses to lose a few. Get you off the scent.
Just to the Giants.
Well, he's got a little bit of a money deal going on with Mara. I'm certain of it. Okay.
Well, yeah, he does have some sentimentality towards the Giants. He used to coach there, won his first Super Bowl there, so makes sense.
Yeah, it's all coming clear.
And he threw those 2 Super Bowls to the Giants. They didn't even win them.
Oh, I know.
They just threw them.
Well, that's where he refined his cheating techniques, right? So Mara threatens to blow the whistle unless, they find a way to share them. Okay. Next game up, we are not allowed to bet. The San Diego Chargers are +3 at the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, can you guys do what you did to him 2 years ago? When you went in there in the playoffs and shut him down?
I worry about our run defense. I really do worry about the Hill-Bernard tandem. Because the most effective thing the Lions did against the Chargers was running the ball, but even more importantly were those little swing screen passes out into space. The Chargers were not tackling well on those at all.
How much did Detroit use the tight end?
Ebron caught that one touchdown pass, and then I never saw him again.
Okay. Because they're going to have to be able to cover a tight end. He seems to have become a target now. And Eifert in Cincinnati.
And A.J. Green is still there, though I actually like my tandem in the back, but they are small, though they did a hell of a job shutting down Calvin Johnson. And Golden Tate. Those guys combined for less than 100 yards.
But I think Cincinnati's running game's a little better than Detroit's.
Yes, and I think their O-line is a lot better than Detroit's.
I just can't... Dalton looked good against the Raiders. It's not like he hung 30 on Baltimore or Denver or any team with a competent defense.
Yeah.
So
that said, Dalton is good more often than he's shitty. It's just when he gets shitty, he gets really shitty and usually at the worst possible time. But if you go through all of his games, he's good more often than not.
Chargers playing at 10 o'clock Pacific time don't have a stellar record.
No.
As I recall, they had one good season where they went on the road.
Oh, they had one great season, but yeah, for the most part.
It's shitty for West Coast teams playing at 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
Basically on their body clock. It sucks. When you're used to playing at fucking 1 o'clock on the West Coast.
Yeah, if I had to bet an aspect of this game, I would probably bet the over, even though it's 45.5.
Yeah, they're going to score some points.
I think both teams are more than capable of scoring points, and I'm going to take the home team here.
Me too. I'll give the Chargers another week. If they prove us wrong again, I'll have to take a different look at them. But
hey, if I keep going against them and they keep winning, I'll be going against the Chargers all year. You know me and my superstitions. All right. Next game up, we have the San Francisco 49ers they are +6 at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It's down to 5.5.
Okay.
Now. So the money's coming in on the Niners. And I don't blame it.
Yeah, but I think it's too quick for that reaction.
I don't really, because I might be in the minority. I think the Niners defense, based just on the continuity of the coaching, it's not like they hired a coach from outside and redid the whole staff.
Yeah, but they
have the same D coordinator.
A kick block. They were fumbling punts.
That's okay. Just hear me out.
They got away with one because it was a terrible quarterbacking performance by Teddy Bridgewater. Right from the start, his first 3 passes were not within 6 yards of the target.
Okay, you can't run the football on them with Peterson. I'm guessing they're going to shut down D'Angelo Williams.
Was it Asiata or McKinnon who came in, though?
Because
their backup running back for Minnesota was rumbling for 7 or 8 yards a clip.
Okay. The Niners still have as many linebackers as they lost. They still have a good linebacking core. They still do. The defense didn't look like it missed a beat. And it's the same guy coaching them. And even though the Aldon Smith's gone, the other Smith's gone, the defense still looked pretty good.
Yeah. I'm not ready to.
Pittsburgh they're missing their center. They're missing, if Bell was playing, I'd be thinking different. Bell's not playing. They're missing their second wideout. Brown's going to get yards against everybody, but they're not going to score enough points in this game.
Well,
they're going to get heat on band.
Close to 500 against New England's defense.
Well, that's fine. New England doesn't have a great defense. They couldn't stop the run last year.
Well, I'm just not convinced yet that the Niners do either. This is one I'd really like to avoid and take a wait and see on the Niners. Oh, okay. I wasn't certain if you were advocating.
No.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm taking the Niners in the 5.5, though. When they have trouble protecting the quarterback, and Pittsburgh's had that problem, with the linebackers the Niners have, he's not going to have a lot of time to throw. They're going to shut down Williams, and this game's going to be close. I don't know if the Niners can win it outright, but I think they cover.
Okay, well, I'm on Pitt for now. But I might change that by the end of this podcast.
With the Pittsburgh defense.
Oh, yeah.
Gronkowski, they couldn't cover a tight end.
Well, if
You think
Kaepernick...
Vernon Davis might have a game? Or how are they containing fucking Kaepernick?
That's a really good question.
I love them at 5.5.
Okay.
Love them. That defense, it's looked the same. Even though there's pieces missing, it still looked the same. Still tackled well, stopped the run well. They did all the things that Tomasulo defense did in the previous years under Harbaugh.
He was the defensive line coach. He wasn't even the defensive coordinator, Boyd.
He still would have had
the position coaches and the unit coaches. They run meetings. He had fuck all to do with the game plan, and you said that yourself in a discussion of...
Did the defense look any different from the last few years under Harbaugh?
No, but every other unit looked pretty inept.
So if the carryover from Wisenhunt to Reich with Rivers, could that not be the same thing? He worked with the defensive coordinator. Could it not carry over?
It could, but I'm just saying at this stage...
They looked like they were running the same defense to me.
I'm really not buying into the Niners. I think a lot of this... Yeah, I'm just not. I'm going to go
basing it solely on their defense, dude. Their defense was the reason they won before. I'm not saying they're winning their division or making the playoffs.
Oh, no.
But the shape the Pittsburgh team's in right now, if they had Bell playing, I would be taking the Steelers. I think they can stop D'Angelo Williams. Nobody's going to stop Antonio Brown. I don't care who you are. But they've had trouble protecting Big Ben the last 2-3 years. He's been one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league. And that offensive line is no better. New England has no pass rush either. They're not putting up 500 yards on the Niners defense. There's no fucking way.
All right.
And the game's going to be close.
Okay.
It could come down to final possession.
You took the 5.5. I am taking Pitt.
You bet. Okay.
And just one final point there. West Coast teams on the East Coast.
Yep, I know.
Okay.
Defense travels.
Next game up. The St. Louis Rams are 3-point favorites. Is this in Washington? Am I reading that right?
Yeah.
So Washington gets 2 to start at home. I don't mind this one, Boyd.
Me either, but the price stinks.
Oh, boy, does it ever.
Minus 125.
Yeah.
It's just, if we can't find anything else, I love this game too. But if we can find value somewhere else, I wouldn't mind skipping it.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in the list. I mean, I think this is... Washington played a pretty strong game against Miami, though I don't think Miami played a particularly good game either. I don't think there'll be any kind of letdown for the Rams at all.
And the Redskins' best receiver's out. Deshaun Jackson's out for 3 to 4 weeks with a hamstring.
So what does that leave them? Garcon
and Reed, the tight end. So
I think the Rams' front seven is more than capable of stopping Alfred Morris.
And Cousins. He's not as mobile as Russell Wilson.
No, I love this game. You're right about the price, but...
We may not find anything else, so... Throw it in there.
There's trouble before when we hunt for prices on occasion. You know, our first goal is still to pick the winner.
Right, and here's the other thing I like about this game. Foles has experience against the Redskins. Played him lots. Played him last year a couple of times against Gruden. He should have a pretty good idea about the defense. I think it comes in handy. I don't know how Washington stops the Rams' defense.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to get away from this one. All right, next up we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers +10 at the New Orleans Saints.
Well, I'm taking the Saints in this. I don't want to bet it.
No, I don't want to bet it.
But I'm taking the Saints. Jameis Winston will make an average defense look fucking great. Unless they figured out in this week that, we don't have to prove a point that Jameis Winston was the number 1 overall pick and put the game on him. I meant to mention this in our recap show last night. The first touchdown Tampa Bay got, Doug Martin had between 40 and 50 yards rushing on that drive. And I thought, oh, fuck, they figured it out. And then they just went away from it. It was 21-7 at the time, and then they just went away from it. And hardly ran him again after that. And then once he got down 35-7, it was too late. So he was busting off 5-6 yards a run. And they just stopped giving it to him because, well, we have to prove that we know what we're doing by taking Winston over Mariota. So,
well, and I also
throw, and he's awful. He's awful. Anybody want to see the next bust quarterback? I don't know if they couldn't teach Tebow in 5 years how to throw a fucking ball. Winston ain't changing. Fucking awful.
One other thing too. Did you see? It was one of the Titans came out and said we couldn't believe they were still running that old cover 2. They could just see the goddamn lanes, the seams in the cover 2. And so Lovie Smith is shuffle him off. He should have just stayed retired and he would have had a reputation. I don't see this getting any better for Tampa Bay.
But they haven't drafted.
I don't see Lovie Smith coaching there next year.
Or GM's gone too. If Winston's as bad as I think he's going to be, GM's gone too.
Yeah, and well, looking at that organization, I think that regardless of their win-loss record, that might be the way to go.
Like, I like their tight end. Severian Jenkins is going to be good. He's big.
I do
and
like
fast.
Doug Martin too. I mean, I know he's struggled through injuries, but
and
when he's on, he's good.
And they have Mike Evans, who was hurt and didn't play last week.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be back, but I don't know that would necessarily help much.
It's not going to matter. Winston is. Trust me, I don't. Here's what I can't understand. Everybody, analysts included, were like, this kid has all the tools. And the way he threw the ball on Sunday, I don't know what they saw. Was it because he only lost one game in college? Was that the determining factor? Leadership and come from behind wins and.
I don't know, Boyd. I've got no theory.
Funky, dude.
The other possibility is that quarterbacks in the presence of Lovie Smith grow exponentially worse.
No, it's not, that wasn't even game planning. He is brutal. And the Titans defense was one of the worst in the league last year, and we added 2 guys.
Yeah.
We added Arakpo. Oh, no, we added 3, Denoris Searcy and Parrish Cox.
Okay. Well, we are both on New Orleans in this game, and I think we agree that about the only thing we see going wrong is if they give Doug Martin 30 carries.
I'm actually going to record this game on Sunday. I got to watch Winston. No, I have to. I'm talking this much. I'm going to watch his games all year. I'm going to tape him and watch him because I have to see what he's doing.
Okay.
Because the way he looks, he did not have a clue. Reading a defense, footwork, throwing motion, fucking anything. And I'm no fucking quarterback guru, but you know it when you see it. It's like porn. You know a good quarterback when you see it, and he looked fucking terrible. So,
okay, next game up, we cannot bet. Your Tennessee Titans are 1-point favorite at the Cleveland Browns.
We should have bet this last night as our underdog pick.
Yeah, no, we still say we don't do it, and the one time we've done it, we instantly lost. So I'm sticking to our rules in this case.
I I don't mind betting it because I'm cheering for them. I don't want to bet them as the favorite, but I'm just saying, as the underdog, it was the best underdog pick on the board. Johnny Manziel quarterbacking, horrible offense. Don't know what they're doing running game. Who's their wideouts? Tight end? I don't know.
Well, they paid Dwayne Bowe $9 million to have him as a healthy scratch last week. Things never change in Cleveland.
I don't know what they have. Maybe they crank it up, home opener, fans. But the line started as Tennessee +3. It shifted 4 points.
Yeah.
And I called it last night before we went on to do the podcast. I told you it was going to flip.
Yeah. No, it was a great
and
call.
I didn't think it would be that quick.
And I think we know which way we're both going here. But
yeah, I'm taking Tennessee.
All right.
Come on, let me talk Titans. They're going to be decent this year. No, we got to move on. Got to try and keep this under an hour.
Next up, we have the Miami Dolphins -6 at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay, you skipped one.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah, no, the Ravens and Raiders are off the board, so we can't bet it.
Oh, okay. I took a different sheet this time, so I was going to ask you if I skipped anything.
Okay, so I'm taking the Ravens. Raiders are stink. It's off the board because of Derek Carr. I don't think it fucking matters with that defense, even with Suggs out. Give me the Ravens. We don't have to talk about it a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm with you as well. So,
Andy Dalton.
I took individual sheets from games, so I've got all the prices and odds. So
okay,
and that one didn't even appear in the individual sheets that they offered because it's off the board. So thank you, Boyd.
No problemo.
All right, and so we are back at Miami -6 at Jacksonville.
I don't mind this game either.
I don't really want to go there.
Okay, Jacksonville put up 9 points against Carolina.
And Blake Miami put up 10 points versus Washington.
Miami
10 real points without special teams.
Miami's going to be probably top 5 to top 10 defense this year.
Yeah.
Against a team that couldn't score against Carolina.
But it's a team that couldn't score against Washington, laying 6 on the road.
Did they cover?
They did on a 69-yard
Their defense is going to make
return.
a lot of covers. Their defense is going to make a lot of covers for Miami this year, especially against weak teams with shitty quarterbacks.
I think there's something really wrong with their offense, and until they show something like they showed last year, I'm very hesitant to lay 6 with them.
Okay.
We might end up back there. Like, I'm taking Miami as well. This isn't a big argument.
I just don't think Jacksonville's appreciably better than Washington, offensively or defensively. And Miami has weapons to. I could see a pick 6.
Jacksonville defensively might be slightly better. And I hate when a team has to rely on a 67-yard punt return to win the game. When everyone keeps telling me Ryan Tannehill is great, and
no, I'm betting on their defense. It has nothing to do with any. I think they have enough on offense to cover. Yeah. I'm placing this squarely on the defense.
We may not find anything better at all. Next up, we have the Dallas Cowboys +5 at the Philadelphia Eagles. 5.5. I beg your pardon.
What would you think the spread would be if Des Bryant was healthy? 3?
Yeah, I think it would be home field.
And I know, the games they played last year, Philly ripped them one game and Dallas won the other, I believe. Correct? I think they both won on each other's field last year.
Though I do think the Philadelphia game might have been after Philly was eliminated from the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, and they had Foles was out and all that shit.
Yeah, I think even Sanchez was out at that stage. So
no, Sanchez... Wasn't it Sanchez that beat him in Dallas?
That might have been. But I'm not sure who was even playing in the Cowboys' victory. Not a big fan.
I know you don't
of
like the Cowboys much. I know.
No, the Cowboys without their best weapon now. Almost
all
being
control.
Admittedly, it was fluky bounces and the strangest shit against the Giants, those fumbles and that. But when you struggle with the Giants that much at home, though I do know that Dallas has the worst home record of any pro football team since they opened that stadium. Well,
and were they not undefeated on the road last year?
Yes, they were.
They still have...
But this is a statement game for DeMarco Murray. Philly's O-line is good. Dallas has no pass rush. They couldn't get through the paper towel that the Giants hang in front of.
If you put... Dallas used the same strategy as last year. They still controlled the ball a lot in that game.
Yeah, with the 5 and 7 yard passes. But that was also because the Giants were almost playing it almost looked like a prevent shell. And Philly's going to be a lot more aggressive. They're not going to give up that underneath stuff. Dallas was smart. Romo was smart. Just keep taking what you're giving me. They didn't control the game like last year. They controlled it through the short passes because that was what was available. I don't know that they can control it through the run game.
How many rushing yards did they end up with? Give me a second. I'm just going to look that up.
Okay.
While we're talking. I'm taking Dallas in the points in this game.
All right.
So I like their O-line. I know Philly in any given day could put up fucking 40. I don't think Dallas gives them enough time on the clock.
Well, yeah, that's the right technique.
5 in the game.
But I don't think... I think Philly's offense is light years ahead of Dallas's now. And Dallas did have some success. Yes, 17 points were off turnovers.
Can they score?
Philly?
Atlanta's not a world beater of a defense.
Okay, some technical issues there, but we're back. I would like to say Boyd convinced me that Dallas was going to easily win and cover in this game, but I'm still taking Philly.
Fuck off. I'm taking the points. I'm not saying they're winning. I'm taking the points.
Okay. We got lots different this week.
I guess I like some teams better than you. I think the same reason that I'll just finish this with Dallas. The same reason they were successful last year is the same reason they'll be successful this year. Ball control.
Okay.
Whether it's through the air or on the ground, they controlled the ball.
All right, fair enough. Next game up, we have the Seattle Seahawks at the Green Bay Packers. The Seahawks are getting 3.5.
So what do we have here? I don't know what Green Bay. Rodgers had under 200 yards passing. I don't know how many rushing yards they had, but I'm going to look that up right now. But it just seems weird that he had 189 yards passing, only threw it 23 times, so they rushed for 133. It's just weird.
Yeah.
They just had over 300 yards offense. The fucking Bears outgained them. I'm just trying to figure out how the fuck it... They put up 31 points.
Yeah, they don't have
on
the pass.
300 yards offense.
Like, I don't think Green Bay is capable of containing Wilson that way. But the Seahawks still have not a particularly great offense.
No. But can they stop... It's going to be Lynch. Can they stop Lynch? Like, Forte had 24 carries for 141 yards. 6 yards a carry. Well, 5.9.
This is a tough game. I think we agree right now that we don't bet this, but...
No. I've got to go Packers at home with Rodgers.
That's exactly where I was getting. Plus...
Without Chancellor in that backfield, they looked a mess. Foles looked fucking like a genius.
Their special teams are dubious.
They're iffy on the road.
Yeah, I got to go Green Bay. I'm not comfortable. I'm very interested in this game because I'm starting to think Seattle's magical run might be starting to grind to a halt.
Well, we noticed last year when Chancellor was out with injury, their defense was different. And it didn't come together until he came back. So, common denominator, I got to go Green Bay.
Yep. I'm with you, though not with a whole ton of confidence here.
No, they've been to the last 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah, it's hard not to take the 3.5 on that, but especially with neither team do I particularly trust at this stage.
No.
They're both good teams, don't get me wrong, but I don't know that one is significantly better than the other. I wouldn't be shocked with any result in that game. And finally, we get to the New York Jets plus 6.5 at the Indianapolis Colts.
If this was a better number, if it was minus 110, I would advocate it. Colts. Minus 6.5. I know they struggled against Buffalo, which is, by our estimation, by the end of the year, they'll be top 3 defense.
Yeah, I would suspect they're going to be the top defense. They'll be in the top 5, undoubtedly.
So... Jets played Cleveland, which overinflates their statistics.
They were at home.
At home.
Indy's always far better on the road or at home.
Yeah. Season opener Monday night. Andrew Luck. Hilton should be back.
I've heard 2 to 4
I don't know
weeks
about Gore.
Now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought he was day to day, but...
Yeah, that's what I heard earlier, but I read that today. Now, I can't recall my source, so I don't know how strong it is.
Was it Mitch's Twitter?
No, it wasn't.
But, no, I like the Colts at home. I don't think the Jets are... I think they're getting smoke blown up their ass for beating Cleveland. If they'd lost their home opener, or season opener, this line would be 9.5.
And I don't like the Colts' defense at all, but they've always managed to do pretty nasty things to Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, let's see. I just want to see how the Jets did in statistical. 15 to 24, 179 yards, 2 TDs, and a pick for Fitzpatrick. Ivory, 20 for 91. Powell, 12 for 62. So they do have Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker. Decker was only caught 2 passes, Marshall 6.
Yeah,
And what did...
It's the Colts at home. I'm using much the same logic as we talked about with Green Bay. The Colts at home are a different beast. I don't know that the Jets are up to
Indy
the task
didn't run.
yet.
Indy couldn't run last week.
And I don't think they'll be able to run this week.
4 yards a carry. But they are missing their 2 best defensive linemen, the Jets. I think Cromartie could be out, which doesn't help.
Yeah, it's a sprain. I'm pretty certain he's out, but they still have Rivas.
Yeah, if Hilton's out, that takes away an advantage. But I still like Indy. I'll take Andrew Luck over Ryan Fitzpatrick every day of the week.
Yeah, if this were a road game in this number, I'd be on the Jets. But the Colts at home, I've learned the hard way not to bet against them.
Yeah, I'm taking the Colts.
Okay, so we just have the one left to pick. I still don't really want to bet it. I think we're just left with the 3 past Thursday that we talked about. And I'm going to take KC at home in that opener.
Okay.
And you're taking Denver in the points?
KC
you're taking
I'm
KC
taking
as
KC.
well? Okay.
Yeah, if we're not betting it as an underdog, I like the value of it.
Yeah.
And the Denver defense. But Thursdays have historically favored the home team, even though this isn't a long travel for Denver. But you're still leaving your facility on Wednesday when the other team can be practicing and studying and not in a plane.
Yeah,
and you don't have to do your walkthrough in the hotel.
Well, yeah, and if the Patriots aren't there stealing your playbooks either.
Yeah.
So that leaves us Atlanta plus 2.5 at the Giants for our underdog pick.
Yeah, I like that money line.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're taking Atlanta to win outright at the New York Football Giants. $10 bet pays $21.50. Booked.
Then, even though our price isn't great, we are taking the St. Louis Rams -3 at the Washington Redskins.
All right, so we have the Rams -3 at Washington. $10 bet pays 18 even. Booked.
And we are going to lay a bunch with those Miami Dolphins. We're going to lay the 6 points over the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, you like that one? It's still our best if we had nothing else, boys.
Colts.
Oh, no, I didn't want to bet that.
Okay. No, we agreed on it, so I'm just saying in that one or this one, the points are both the same. The Jaguars are, I think, worse than the Jets and pose less of a problem for the Jets. I believe Miami spanked Jacksonville last year, too, if I do recall.
A lot of people did, so.
So, okay, we have the Dolphins -6 at Jacksonville. $10 pays $19.09. Booked.
All right.
Well, Road Warriors this week. 3 road teams.
All right. Well, let's see how we do. I'll just recap them quick. We have Atlanta on the money line to win straight up against the Giants. $10 pays $21.50. We have the St. Louis Rams -3 at the Washington Redskins. $10 pays $18. And we have Miami laying 6 on the road to Jacksonville. $10 pays $19.09. One time Tannehill. Fuck.
All right. Well, I'll say this. Carolina had no wideouts and still won.
Yeah.
If you want to check out our podcast, you can listen to it on iTunes or Stitcher for your Android device. On our website, offensivelines.ca. Follow us on Twitter at offensivelines for any updates to our blog posts or when a new podcast is available. Facebook.com/offensivelines. And if you want to send us an email, it's offensivelines@shaw.ca. Oh, and don't forget our personal Twitter accounts, at OLinesMarlon or at OLinesBoyd.
All right. that was our Week 2 picks. I'm Marlon.
I'm Boyd.
And that was our Week 2 picks. I really...
Marcus Mariota. Yeah, you fucked that up.
Degenerate fucking gambler.